a couple of years back, and the talk series phase 1 was completed with 12 session, followed by another 12 session of phase 2, and now we are into phase 3. This is the fifth session ongoing, and as you all know that the topic of today's session is the electric cooking for institutions. Let me welcome you all. First of all, thank you very much for coming and agreeing to join and sharing your very, very valuable views on the subject, which is how to promote electric cooking and how to promote and further accelerate it, especially in institutions. So that is the specific subject. And this, let me first tell you that these talking series is being organized by the Modern Energy Cooking Services Program, which is a UK-based program, and we are organizing it through their in-country partner, Finovista, along with Women in Modern Energy Cooking and also Indian Federation of Culinary Association. The idea is to discuss and explore, identify the challenges, and also then through the discussion, we would like to the solutions to emerge, because after all, we are trying to promote, accelerate the electric cooking. So the idea is to find solution as well. So that is the main objective of this program. In fact, that is the objective of overall Modern Energy Cooking Services initiative in India. And okay, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Krishna Kumar Sinha, and I am associated, fortunately, with Finovista as an advisor. But before that, I was working in the central government, I mean, the government of India in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry as an industrial advisor. But this is my latest love, you can say, the electric cooking and promotion of clean cooking in India, which I enjoy very much. Coming to the benefit of electric cooking, these benefits of electric cooking, one can go back into the invention of electricity itself and the benefit that it gave to the society in general over the period when we used, not so cleaner sources of energy for lighting, for cooking and other purposes. I mean, we know that what happened with when the power came. So everything became faster, everything took less time, everything was done in a fraction of second. Children can learn during the night hours. People are more aware of the things happening around the world through radio and then television. So these are the benefits of the electricity which brought. And electricity has been I should say energy source for cooking for quite large percentage of the population in the world. About, I suppose it's around 60%. But unfortunately for many countries in Asia and Africa, we still depend largely on biomass, wood, coal for cooking purposes, which has its own adverse impact on the society, on individuals' health, and also you can say the climate, our planet Earth, which is suffering because of that. So it is mainly to overcome these challenges that we are working for the promotion of electric cooking in India, because in India, despite a very sincere effort by the government to promote LPG, you can say that a government has been able to provide the connection to almost 100% people, but actually people are unable to use that LPG for their own cooking for various reasons, including the affordability and the technological challenges, which coming because of the not adequate electrical infrastructure, especially in rural area. But anyway, these are the issues which our experts will deal with it. Today, we will be discussing mainly on how to promote cooking in an institution, because cooking is an essential activity both at households and also done at the institution. What becomes in institution more important is that it is a large amount of cooking required for a bigger chunk of people, then that means more energy load on the electrical side, on the grid required. It requires a bigger kind of a vessel for cooking. Now, all these are the challenges which are for the manufacturer, for the innovators to address and develop such devices which could be uh, more suitable and appropriate for institutional purpose. And in India, we know, it is not just the railway canteen or the military canteen or the hospitals use, has a large kitchen, but we have a very special program for children, which is called midday meals program in the schools, which is in fact an incentive for a large population to join a school, because people have gone to study and they can avail the benefit of education because of the meals provided them. That's an added attraction. So it is very important that those organization, the midday meal program, remains successful. And but unfortunately, in most of these things, these midday meal program or otherwise also a large kitchen, the use of cleaner fuel for cooking is still very limited. So that is where we are trying to introduce and promote the cooking through electrical means. And uh, I mean, talking about the institutional cooking and the large electrical devices, you can have a better control in cooking. That is what even a layman can understand. The temperature control, the precise amount of energy which is required, all these can be controlled, and thereby we can improve the overall energy efficiency involved in the electric cooking, which is always a gain, and a requirement, because of the, after all, energy is something which is limited. After all, it has to be produced or converted from one source to another. So it is, we have to spend it very wisely. So with all these, I think I should hand it over to the experts before and here I stop. But before stopping, it's my duty to introduce the first speaker here, and for the session. And uh, she is Chef Gunjan Goela. She is from Indian Federation of Culinary Association and have been a chef for more than 25 years. And she is quite a familiar face because of a number of cook shows she has been conducting across TV channels, so seen across India in channels such as BBC, TLC, History Channel, NDTV Good Times, Star TV, and you name it, Doordarshan, of course. She is not just by experience a good chef, but also a well qualified chef, in the sense that she got a scholarship to study South American food at John Falsey Culinary Institute at New Orleans, USA, and has been a consultant with ITC hotels in Delhi. And she is particularly very considered to be a top expert in the vegetarian Indian dishes, because in India still around 60% people are still vegetarian, and that makes it more. And when mostly in those midday meals program or elsewhere, the cooking is mostly vegetarian, as far as I know. But anyway, you can talk about it later. And one of the last but not, the most important qualification is she has been a I would say she was privileged to cook for our honorable Prime Minister also during the Make in India program. I'm told, I am not aware. I was also there, but I didn't know that the Make in India program, you were also there. Anyway, nice to meet you, Miss Gunjan,
Thank you.
and
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
And
Thank you.
it
Thank
is
you for
really
leading and
our
giving me such good
privilege.
words.
It is our privilege to see you here, and I am sure we are going to be very hugely benefited by your presence, your sharing your experience. and your since you have worked in Delhi Heart also, so institutional cooking is something which is not new to you. You know it has been hugely successful, and so shall I hand it over to you, Miss Goila, for your
Yes, please. Thank you.
presentation?
Thank you.
So please,
I hope
that
I'm audible. I hope I'm
yes, to me
audible.
very much. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. Right. So thank you so much for inviting me and making me a part of this event. It's my pleasure. And of course, as a chef, it is my responsibility to share my thoughts to everybody present on this evening today on this meeting. I would like to start with saying that India has been one of the privileged country where it's an agriculture based economy. So biomass came very naturally. So we all Indians are used to using the biomass, the coal, or the natural products given by nature for everything in life. So cooking also becomes a part of it. Now changing it to e-cooking, it needs a certain level of education to the masses and to the general public, because till now they've been using wood or they've been using coal. It needs a little attention, because we are shifting from one important part of our life to another electric good, which of course has been a regular part of our living. But definitely we need to go and talk to more people and educate them what is all e-cooking is all about. But on the front of it, we have to understand it is good for our sustainability and environment. And that is what India is progressing towards, is how to maintain the environment, how to be more sustainable. And e-cooking definitely is one of the answers for that. But we take a step backwards in case we are not using wood, we are not using coal, because we're not using our resources and keeping them as reserves. So this is energy efficiency, this is climatic change, we are reducing the carbon emission, and which definitely mitigates into climate saving and a climate step towards saving the climate and the environment. I would like to share a few things, especially for the institution. See, if we switch to e-cooking, we are saving the cost, we are saving the energy, and we are saving the time. It is very easily portable, and even at times when the institutions are catering, like for example, my hotel or any good hotel who are catering for people outside, which is called outdoor catering, we need to cook at the site, and at that point carrying that kind of coal, that kind of wood, it becomes very cumbersome. So e-cooking is a very good answer to that. And I think we as chefs should take this responsibility to talk about it, to discuss in forums like this, and to get the awareness right across the length and breadth of our country. What happens, this is it, the biggest advantage while cooking we have is the precise temperature. We can control the temperature and let it be, whereas in cold cooking we have to be constantly watching it, because it's a physical thing, and here we just set the temperature and the food is taken care of. Another point one can discuss is even heat distribution. Whereas in the regular traditional form of cooking, this is not so. You have to keep controlling it, and that is done manually. Now, it reduces fluctuation. When you're reducing or you're controlling the temperature, fluctuation is another important issue, that in case we increase the coal and we immediately withdraw the coal ambers, we have to understand what is fluctuation at that point. Now the point is, in case we are doing this, how can we adapt ourselves to the e-cooking? because all of a sudden a big shift or a big transfer takes a little time, and we as a chef also face a challenge. How do we get certain style of cooking or certain flavors of cooking that we have been doing all this while, or which has been so tradition to us? Now example is smoking. We can't have smoking in e-cooking because that is done through ambers, and that is done through wood, whereas e-cooking is a constant cooking and it will continue to give you the same flavor, the same type of cooking throughout. So that is one thing. There are areas I like to discuss with the people who are responsible in making these equipments. So this is, I will come to that a little later. Let me just first tell you what it is, but definitely this is one important point. Now, what it does to is, how do we maintain the taste? How do we maintain what we want, and how to, in terms of maintaining the overall look? Now, for e-cooking, we as a chef have a certain request to you people. How do we get what we can get from traditional cooking? As I just told you, smoky point. How do we maintain one frying, and how do we maintain the sauteing? Because in regular cooking, it's very easy to do it manually in terms of getting the product ready. But at the same time, at that very point, I also have to emphasize, like I see Swamiji from ISKCON, for them to cook a simple dal or a simple vegetable curry, it's very quick, very much faster to produce the same amount of food at half the energy, half the cost, and half the time of cooking, which is so important in the institutions. But most of them are into catering. Even the temples are into catering. There are people coming from outside and they hold weddings and they hold parties there, and that time it becomes a bulk cooking. So that is the time when chefs get involved and they want to create a new dish. Everybody wants a new menu. So that creativity is what is lacking in e-cooking. We need to understand, we need to sit down with the manufacturers of these equipments to tell them how do they get what is required from a chef. It is not that you make a product and you're there to sell it, but you should also understand what actually is the requirement, who's using the product, who is an actual consumer. And likewise, when I said I was discussing this, all the cooks, all the chefs can probably take this to the length and breadth of the country, which is such a large country, and there's so many eateries. You find hundreds of eateries by the highways, and that is when the bulk cooking comes in, and we can actually supply them these equipments, and they will be really benefited, largely because it's a major cost cutting, easy to carry from point A to point B, and then and very quick. Time and efficiency both are maintained in it. But we need to collaborate with them. We need to understand their issues, what is their requirement, and in accordance to that is what I feel should the equipment be made, because every individual, every cuisine has a certain requirement from the cookpot or from the cooking equipments as to what do they want to achieve. For example, making a dosa in South India would be very different than to making a dal in Punjab. So that point, I think these manufacturers need to know how to set the temperature, how to control that temperature, and how do we actually achieve what we are looking for. Otherwise, it's a waste. It's a waste of an exercise for chefs to first to buy that expensive equipment and not to get and not to achieve what they're actually looking for. So these are some of my points that I would like to raise and ask people to, to discuss this and to take it to various places in India, talk to people. And the one more point, till the time we actually do hands-on cooking, we will never get the confidence. We cannot innovate till the time we have done it ourselves. So for the time being, it's very important that all the chefs get to experience what is e-cooking. Now, e-cooking is just not an electric cooking. It could be an induction pan. It could be a sous vide cooking. There are various forms of cooking methods through e-cooking. So this should be shared to all the people, and especially in case we go to the villages. They could be benefited because if they are working in the farms or they are working elsewhere, for them time is a very major constraint. And this is the biggest advantage with e-cooking, when we can say that yes, this can be one pot cooking, or this can be the answer for them to save themselves away from that biomass cooking, where CO2 is emitted, and that spoils their health, that gives them bad eyesight. So this is where I say education is very important. This needs to be traveled, this needs to be gone to the villages, this needs to have some pop-ups, it needs to be talk to the people and find out what is their expectations, what do they expect from an e-cooking stove. So these are some of the exercises which I think are very important and should be taken care of ASAP before we actually you launch it and make it into a mass production. So with this, I would like to wind up and say that although we are very happy, but it's very important to cook ourselves and then get the exact confidence. What are we wanting and how shall we take this forward? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Gunjanji, and what a wonderful, frank, precise, to the point presentation it was. I mean, you spoke about of course, about the benefit of the electric cooking, with the cost cutting involved, better energy efficiency, time saving for those who are the biomass using it. So, I mean, and at the same time, you also spoke about the challenges which, uh, as a chef, you feel that is faced by for adoption of electric cooking. And another suggestion, which is equally important, is the better coordination between those eateries and other community kitchen, where what exactly is their requirement, that is to be understood by the manufacturer, and that coordination can lead to a more appropriate innovation or development of appliances for use for large application, or I would say for Indian application also, because the kind of cooking what is done in India is not the same what we do in UK or in USA or Canada. So thank you very much, Gunjanji, for
My
your
pleasure.
presentation, and that was really would be gainful, I am sure. And now the turn is for our panel of experts, and we have, as I said, very wonderful panel of experts today. But for that, I will like to hand over to Dr. Nick Russo for moderating that session. And let me introduce him. He is a well-known and already I would say, a known figure in the arena of promotion of electric cooking. He is the international liaison manager of Modern Energy Cooking Services Program, which is coordinated and led by Loughborough University, UK. Dr. Nick holds a BA degree, MSc degree, and PhD degree in psychology from the University of Cambridge, Loughborough, and Sheffield. And his focus has been user-centered system design. That what I think, Gunjanji, you also spoke about as far as thing is concerned. So he has more than 20 years of working experience in UK government as the head of international innovation strategy at Department of Business, Innovation and Skills. And as far as India is concerned, he's the key man. He is the man who coordinates and leads the India operations. So very welcome, Dr. Nick, and over to you for moderating the next second part of the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sina, and great to join this panel, and very exciting, actually. I feel this is opening up a whole new area of our work, and I'm naughty because I like eating Indian food so much. I feel I'm going to have the opportunity to experience some new dishes as I go forward. So, and thank you, Ma'am, for your presentation. I think that was a very good description from the point of view of the user and the people who want to see the solutions, but they also see the challenges and the needs. And I'm confident that in our panel, we will have people who can talk about solutions to some of the challenges you raised. But my main role here is simply to introduce the panel, to invite them to speak, but also to help the flow. And if you have any points or questions that you in the audience would like to raise, can you put them in the chat? And I will keep an eye on that along with the colleagues at Finovista, and then we can raise those comments and questions later on, and maybe there can be some direct exchange through the chat. Also, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, tell us who you are, give us your contact details if you'd like to be contacted. I think that all helps to build the network and the flow of communication. Again, it's all about people in different areas of expertise understanding each other and working together and producing good food and good cooking. Okay, so we have 4 panelists. I'm going to invite each of them to speak for maybe up to 7 minutes about their area of expertise and their insights to bring to this area of institutional cooking. Between the panelists, they have experience in different sectors, if you like, within institutional cooking, which is a very broad area. And so we'll get some really diverse and important insights from those. So my first panelist is Mr. Umesh Vishwa. I should apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of your names. I'm still learning. India is a wonderful, diverse country with lots of different cultural roots. I'm not always able to follow them all. Anyway, Mr. Vishwa is an accomplished leader at Smith Innovative Appliances, and he has a background in science, an extensive experience in research and development, and an expertise in innovative ideas and cutting-edge technology for many years. In 2014, Smith Innovative Appliances started working in the e-cooking sector, and they've been driving forward a number of initiatives and advancements in the field. Mr. Vishwa has a wealth of knowledge and deep understanding of emerging trends and breakthroughs in the technological landscape, and is committed to driving positive change, and that has led them to become a great authority in this field. So, Mr. Vishwa, we look forward to your observations and experience. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, in fact, the technology, electrical cooking. Yes, can you? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, in fact, the e-cooking is not a very new subject. It has been in discussion since many years. And in fact, the cooking means what we consider cooking means the fire. So fire, the safest fire in the world. Like if you consider the biomass cooking, or coal cooking, wood cooking, or LPG cooking, there is a certain fire which has the dangerous effects. Like if you are working with the biomass cooking, then smoke was the main problem. Also, it was highly time consuming for the people to gather that biomass items and cook the food. And later on, we have seen the kerosene oil, which was again highly polluted gas, and now the LPG. So what we think that the only e-cooking is the things that can replace all these problems, and this can be the highly efficient, energy efficient, and very safest way to cook. And there is no any limitations of cooking. And all way of the cooking means basically, if you see, the cooking contains frying, boiling, grilling, roasting, toasting, and all these way cover all kinds of cooking. And there is no any barrier. Country wise, whatever recipe you are cooking, everything can be done over the e-cooking. So the e-cooking, what we think the challenge is the energy efficiency. So it should be work on less energy. So the power cost minimize, and it work very well, and it has the only power to replace the currently what we are using LPG cooking. That can be replaced by this one. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. A good opening response. I personally believe that electric cooking is suitable for just about anything, but it is a challenge sometimes to adapt. And I think it's important that when you're offering people new technologies and new solutions, that you help them to adapt their practice. And I think we all
There
would
are certain
recognize.
technology. There are certain. Sorry, there are certain technology. Just like the LPG cooking, you see the fire. So some electrical heated cooking also show the fire, red fire. So it is easily can be seen that the fire is coming, the heat is coming up, and people can use over that. So switching from LPG or biomass to e-cooking is quite easy. It hardly take 8 to 10 days, and people used to use it. It's quite easy.
Thank you. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And
Yes.
my kitchen at home here is all electric now. I don't have any
Yes,
gas.
yes.
And that's
The
unusual in
radiant
the
kind.
UK. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So let's move to
Thank
our
you.
next speaker. And to give you all notice that she is going to be speaking in Hindi because that is her natural language. So I hope you who don't understand that will be able to appreciate the messages in other ways, but I've been given a translation of what she's going to say. So this is Ms. Sanju Kumari from Bodh Gaya, Bihar, and I'm going to be coming up to Bihar very soon, so I'm looking forward to that. She has joined Jivika SHG in 2017 after her husband sadly passed away, and she had to take over the role as the breadwinner. And she, at that time in 2017, Jivika started the SOULS project, and she was accepted as an assembler of solar lamps. She's assembled over 3,500 solar lamps and runs a maintenance and repair center there, which has brought in a very solid income for her family, made a huge difference to her life and her family's life. Jivika noticed the quality of her work, and they chose her to be a shareholder and a director of that company, J-Wires. But in the last 3 years, she's been doing a great deal to make that company profitable, and it has grown substantially and set itself ambitious targets. And they are working with us now on electric cooking, and that's what Ms. Kumari is going to talk to us about. So, can I invite you to speak, Ms. Kumari?
Yeah, before that, I want to make a small housekeeping announcement that the points for the international delegates is also posted in English in the chat function. You may go and read it.
Thank you.
संजू जी, मिसेस संजू आप बोल सकते हैं, मैम प्लीज. संजू मैम.
नमस्ते मैम.
नमस्ते.
मेरा नाम संजू देवी है और मैं बिहार राज्य से बोध गया की रहने वाली हूँ. मैं अपने परिवार की कमाई या आजीविका के बढ़ाने के लिए 2016 में जीविका स्वयं सहायता समूह में जुड़ी. बिहार सरकार के अधीन ग्रामीण विकास विकास विभाग विश्व बैंक के सहायता प्राप्त बिहार ग्रामीण आजीविका योजना BRLAP के नेतृत्व कर रहा है, जिससे स्थानीय तौर से आजीविका के नाम से जाना जाता है। वर्ष 2017 में जीविका ने सॉल्स प्रोजेक्ट शुरू किया और मुझे सोलर लैंप के असेंबलर के रूप में चुना गया। ये सेल की 70 लाख सौर लैंप योजना लागू कर रहा है। इस योजना की तरह आसाम, बिहार, झारखंड, उत्तर प्रदेश और उड़ीसा राज्यों में स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चों को सोलर स्टडी लैंप वितरण किया गया था। आज तक स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चों के लिए 61 लाख से अधिक सोलर स्टडी लैंप वितरण किया जा चुका है। सोलर प्रोजेक्ट ने 3500 सोलर लैंप असेंबल किया और मरम्मत शुरू की और बोधगया में मरम्मत के रख रखाव के केंद्र खोले, जिसमें से मुझे अपने परिवार की स्थिति करने में मदद मिले। जीविका ने असेंबली के मरम्मत चरण में ईमानदार प्रयासों को भी देखा और मुझे जे-वाइस कंपनी ने शेयर धारक और निर्देशक के रूप में चुना। पिछले 3 वर्षों में कंपनी ने 300 करोड़ रुपए के कारोबार किए, लाभ कमाया। अब जे-वाइस की योजना चालू वित्त वर्ष 2023 से 24 तक 6 करोड़ के व्यवसाय लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने की है। और जे-वाइस में अभी कई तरह का शुरुआत हम लोग LED बल्ब से किए और उसमें LED बल्ब से किया और कई तरह के प्रोडक्ट, कम से कम 16 से 17 तरह का प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग चला रहे हैं। मैं लगभग अभी काम कर रही हूँ। बायोमास इस दिशा में क्षेत्र में स्वच्छ खाना पकाने के समाधान के बढ़ावा देने के लिए भारतीय प्रौद्योगिकी संस्थान बम्बई और बिहार ग्रामीण आजीविका संधान सोसाइटी जीविका द्वारा गया बिहार में अपने MECS कार्यालय का सहयोग से एक कुकिंग परीक्षण छात्र योजना किया गया। यह 5 से सहयोग से एक कुकिंग परीक्षण या छात्र योजना किया गया था। यह 5 दिवसीय कार्य समुदाय टिकाऊ और स्वच्छ ऊर्जा के बढ़ावा देने के लिए क्लीन कुकिंग चैंपियंस स्मार्ट मालिकों, फील्ड अधिकारियों और जीविका के अधिकारियों को ज्ञान की कौशल के साथ बनाने के लिए डिजाइन किया गया है। परीक्षण गया बिहार के 5 ब्लॉकों में आयोजित किया गया। परीक्षण में उन ब्लॉकों में 25 महिलाएं ने भाग ली। स्वच्छ खाना पकाने के चैंपियन अपने अपने ब्लॉकों में मांगे पैदा करने के जागरूकता पैदा करने के लिए जिम्मेदार थे। महिलाओं के EPC और इंडक्शन स्टोव के माध्यम से उनके परीक्षण किया गया। बिहार का मुख्य व्यंजन दाल, भात, भुजिया बनाया गया। सभी 5 ब्लॉकों के बीच में एक eCooking की प्रतियोगिता भी आयोजित की गई। इस व्यापार दृष्टिकोण की सुनिश्चित किया कि प्रतिभागियों को न केवल सैद्धांतिक ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ बल्कि उनके समुदाय में सफलता कार्यान्वयन के लिए व्यावहारिक कौशल भी प्राप्त हुआ। प्रतियोगिता के विजेताओं को प्रशंसा प्रमाण पत्र प्रदान किया गया।
Thank you very much, Ma'am. That was very well spoken. It must have been
मेरी तरफ से
a challenge.
sorry. मेरी तरफ से भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद संजू देवी जी, आपका जो भी आपने अपना अनुभव हम लोगों को बताया वो काफी उसका काफी महत्व है, और शायद इन डिफरेंट जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं इलेक्ट्रिक कुकिंग को, उसको प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, उसमें आपके अनुभव से और सहायता मिलेगी। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत ही अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था। Dr. Nick, I was just speaking to her in her native language that it was a good presentation, and her sharing of experience at that level would be very important, especially for semi-urban and rural areas promotion of electric cooking. So now it's back over to you for taking it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद संजू जी। अगर आप संजू देवी जी अगर आप जाना चाहती हैं, समय का कोई है तो आप जा सकती हैं।
धन्यवाद सर।
She wanted to go, so I have just
All right.
to leave if
Okay,
she has any
that's
other
fine.
challenge.
Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you. Over
Thank
to you.
Okay, I think this illustrates how important it is that we do really engage with women across all areas of society. They've got so much to contribute, and their experience and their observations is absolutely critical if we're going to find solutions which will work and will change how people cook. And there's interesting to see in the chat, people are responding about, is it viable, is it not viable to cook with electricity? And I think, you know, there are challenges and we understand that, but there are so many benefits from cooking with electricity. If we can find ways of overcoming those challenges through innovation and through helping people to adapt, I think many lives can be saved. People, and particularly women's lives, can be much improved, and the environment can be a much better safeguarded as well. So I think it's an effort that's worth making, but we're very open to people explaining the challenges so that we can really work together to find solutions. And I think the next speaker is an ideal example of that, Mr. Anil Desai, who I've known for quite a number of years now and learned a great deal from him. He is a recognized expert in induction technology within India and I hope increasingly overseas. He works with chefs in many different settings, from the top restaurants and the top hotels to schools and hospitals. So he has a wealth of knowledge, and he has been particularly innovative in developing induction-based cooking for things like steaming, which Ma'am earlier mentioned was a challenge. So very pleased to welcome Mr. Desai. And he has a role in educating people generally. He is, I suspect, to have a reputation for his knowledge is so vast that he can talk at length. So I'm going to need him to be quite brief. But I think if you are wanting to know more, then do get in touch. And his company is an amazing one. And he has lots of videos that he shared of how they found solutions for all different sorts of challenges in the kitchen. So over to you, Mr. Desai. But I think, did someone want to make a point from Finovista? No? Okay, Mr. Desai, would you like to turn your camera on and share your observations about the potential for e-cooking?
Yeah, the camera is on. Okay.
Yeah,
am
perfect.
I audible?
We can see you. Yes, yeah. Indeed, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Nick. As you rightly said, 7 minutes are too less for me to explain, but I'll be trying to be as brief as possible, and I will try to answer few of the issues which are raised by Madam right in the beginning. Since I am working for institutional cooking more along with cafeteria cooking in the best of the best hotels of the country, like ITC. These are some of the hotels where the cafeteria kitchens always cook in bulk, and their cooking is approximately from 500 to 1000 meals within 1.5 to 2 hours. So first of all, I think I will request Neha to run through a very small 2 minutes video, which will make the people understand exactly how the institutional cooking is done. Neha, can you please run the video for me?
Sure. Khushi, please
Yeah.
share the video.
Sure, ma'am.
This is a tilting pan. You can mute the music if possible, otherwise no problem. See, this is a frying kadai. These are cooktops. This is a tilting pan again. Huge bulk cooking is always done from 150 liters to 250 liters in this tilting pan. This is a tawa making dosas. These are again tilting pans. We are making poha there. These are little smaller cooktops, but again you can see around 30-40 kg of potatoes being boiled. This is a demo to train the chefs in one of the corporate. He's making paratha on a tawa. This is a tilting pan which is going to do a lot of frying. This is a steamer. They cook around 40 kg of khaman, which is a Gujarat recipe. Fine. Thank you so much. Now, coming back to the subject, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Nick, am I audible?
Yes, totally.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
thank you.
Okay. See, institutional cooking is entirely different from domestic cooking. And fortunately, since I have done domestic cooking for 3-4 years, it was very easy for me to understand the requirements of the chef. Now, my modus operandi is that whenever I am approached, the first thing which we ask the corporate or the institute or schools is the menu. Then we ask the time that they have got to cook this menu and the number of packs they are cooking for that particular session and the present state of cooking, which are the burners they are using, which are the vessels they are using. So the size of the vessels, the BTU of the burners, and with the information which we get, if we want to go and visit the kitchen, then I do the visit or my people do the visit. And then we try to understand exactly the requirement at site during the peak hours of the cooking. If it is a new project, then naturally the kitchen consultant comes into the picture. And kitchen consultants normally plan the BTU of the burners, which we convert to kilowatt power, so that the chef will get the product which he needs or which he dreams about. Now, this is exactly where I would be blunt enough to say that during my 20 years of experience, most of the chefs who have worked abroad or in India are aware up to 3.5 kilowatt or maximum sometimes 5 kilowatt of inductions. They are not exposed to 10 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt, or even up to 50 kilowatt per unit. So the first resistance which we get whenever we approach them is a mental barrier. They feel that they know everything about induction And in last 20 years, I have learned that during my meeting or after my meeting, they always tell me that we never knew this is how the induction can also work. So as madam was saying regarding catering and all, in fact, we discourage the catering part for a reason. You don't shift your TVs daily. What we are doing is generating 300 degrees or 200 degrees or 400 degrees or 100 degrees of heat from electronics. It's a pure electronics and nothing else. So lifting and shifting is not going to be advisable. And earlier we used to give to the caterers for live cooking, but nowadays we do not encourage that. I have worked for Indian Railways. I have worked for running trains. Our product has been used for more than 1.5 years for frying in running trains. But slowly and steadily, what we have learned is that stable induction will last longer. Inductions after training to the chefs, because nowadays, since last 3 years, we don't allow our equipment to be used by untrained chefs. What happens is that in corporates, there are trainees who come from the colleges and they are allowed to use inductions, which we do not allow now, only because of this reason that there are do's and don'ts. Now, do's and don'ts are most important. I will just give you 2 or 3 limitations. If the coil size below, which is generating the magnetic flux, I am not going to go into technical details at all. The vessel has to be having a diameter of minimum that size of which the coil is there below. If 18 inches is required for a 10 kilowatt or a 15 kilowatt induction, my vessel size has to be minimum 18. Maximum it can be 24 inch, 20 inch, whatever it can be. So this is the first thing which is very important for institutional promotion. Now, when I started, there was hardly anybody in the induction technology. Today, fortunately, we have got at least 4 to 5 indigenous manufacturers. Others are importers. So the product comes from abroad. The components are not available. And I'm always finding people saying or complaining to me that we had bought from Stella or we had bought from X, Y, or Z. I'm not putting names. And after the product has gone into repair, nobody is able to do it. So we have even Indianized those equipments with our indigenous components, which came from abroad and people could not mend it for years together. I am not going into the details. I am just trying to make sure what is all important. So the first, which I was saying, is understanding. The second is then implementing, exactly converting it into the power of inductions. And the last and the most important is after sales service. If you cannot attend to the call within 24 to 48 hours, then the customer feels offended. Then the technology can take a U-turn. I will give you a very small example. Today in Bangalore, in one of the hotel, which is a 5-star hotel, we are doing 8 kitchens together since last around 3 to 4 months. But my first condition was that I will transfer one of my technician from my base town to Bangalore. Now today in Bangalore, we have got around 200, 300 installations, and we have a technician there who is responding to the calls within 24 hours. So that is most important. We are available pan-India, the flights are available, and we reach everywhere. So this is in nutshell. Yeah, this is how the institutional cooking can be adapted with induction instead of LPG or any other source of fuel. Please. Thank you. Your mic is not on.
Nick, you are on mute. You are on
You are
mute.
mute.
Apologies. Thank you. Yes. Now, I wanted
Okay,
to thank
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Desai for being admirably brief with your many years of experience. I think hopefully people will want to hear more from you, and those that are in the kitchen sector will want to maybe engage your company. We're getting more questions coming through on the chat about the availability of
Nick,
institutional
we have
scale
our
cooking.
last speaker as
Yes,
well, Mr. Ved.
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Now, just commenting on the chats. Okay, so our last speaker illustrates again the diversity of institutional cooking in India. And this is Vedavyasa Dasa from ISKCON. Do I pronounce that right? ISKCON in Bangalore. And I've done a little bit of research. There are currently 8 ISKCON temples in Bangalore. And Sri Radha Krishna Chandra Temple is one of the largest Krishna Hindu temples in the world. So we're talking a very substantial institution. They serve free lunch prasadam to temple visitors every day, consisting of rice, sambar, sabji, sweet and buttermilk. So we were going to be hearing about the experience of very, very large scale cooking for large volumes. But I also take the liberty, because I was on their website, to share an inspirational quote. So I'm taking this literally from their website. It says, of all the charities, the charity of food is considered supreme. In the Vihara Purana, Sri Vihara says, one who gives food gives all that is worth giving in this world. Lord Krishna says in the Bhavishaya Purana, the world, both animate and inanimate, is sustained by food. The giver of food is the giver of life, and indeed of everything else. Therefore, one who is desirous of well-being in this world and beyond should make special endeavors to give food. And that really helps me to remember how important what we're doing. Everyone who's listening is about helping people to cook, to have access to good food and to life. And it's so important. So thank you for that inspirational quote. I hope that's not too much of a distraction. But Mr. Dasa, is that the correct way to refer to you? Would you like to share your observations from working in the temple? Maybe if you could turn your camera on and others can.
Hello, Mr. Vedvyas. Are you there?
They may have some prayer timings.
No, he's
Maybe
there.
if he's not there. Is there?
He is. Sir, your camera is, you are not visible to us, although you are unmuted. So if you can address us. I'll just check on with Mr. Vedvyas. Just
We might have some technical issues. Just to say, one of my colleagues in the MECS team, Chipo, I hope is on the call, but she is going to be doing a bit of research into institutional cooking in India and Kenya, looking for information about suppliers to understand the different segments in the market, and particularly the kind of challenges in the supply chain. So, Chipo, I don't know if you would put your contact details in the chat. People can contact you if they'd like to share their observations. The report, I'm sure, will be of interest to a lot of people.
He has some technical glitch. He's logging in again in
Okay,
just
thank
a couple.
Okay. Okay.
So one question that Jacob has posed is what do people see as the differences between cooking in domestic versus institutional settings? So we can come back to that maybe if there's time. But our speaker is now, I think, rejoined.
Yes, he has. Mr. Vedvyasji, can you please switch on your mic and you are unmute? I can see that. Hello. There is some technical glitch.
Mm.
Hello, Vedvyasji, can you able to hear us? Hello. Hello.
He was online in the initial time. But,
even he is also online, so I think he is facing some technical glitch. So yeah. Meanwhile, Nick, why not picking some questions till the time?
Yeah, I have asked Mr. Vedvyasji. He is joining through phone now. His laptop is facing some glitch, so he's joining through his phone. Yeah.
Just again, while we're waiting, it seems to me that there's discussion in the chat about whether everyone would move to 100% electric cooking and whether that's realistic. And I think the view that the MECS program has is that in many cases, people will want to retain different options, that it takes a time. Again, it's about a transition as people adopt electric cooking and discover the benefits, and maybe also learn about its wider application in different cooking areas. They may be able to take on more electric cooking and move away from LPG and biomass, particularly with LPG prices increasing and the biomass maybe being less available, more costly, as well as the other benefits. But it's not going to be something that everyone will adopt straight away 100%. I think that's probably the fair assumption. Mr. Desai, I assume your experience is that you can go into a chef to a restaurant, convert them wholesale to not just to e-cooking but to induction-based cooking. So that's a major triumph.
Yeah, see, apart from when you say e-cooking, it is either induction or electric. Induction is 40% safer than electric cooking. Electric is a resistance coil based cooking. Somebody was saying you can see the red fire. So one of the speakers said that it is what is a red ring, which is mostly misunderstood even by chefs, because when both are in off mode, both have got black glass on top. And what I have seen in the hotels, especially 5-star hotels, they use both induction as well as the resistance coils. So when they are confused, it is very simple diagnosis. If you switch both of them on, then there will be a red ring below the black glass. It means it is resistance coil, which will heat the glass, the environment, and the food. Whereas in induction, it does not happen. Yeah.
Our speaker is here.
There. Please.
Hello, sir.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. It sounds like you've been having a difficult time, so we're very glad that you're able to join us, and we're looking forward to hearing your presentation.
Excuse me, there is a glitch. I think I could not join from the laptop. So, namaste everybody, namaste to all the dignitaries here. And Anil ji, nice to meet you again. So, basically, now we are feeding over 2 million children all over India. And there are two reasons compelled us to look after an alternative energy option other than gas-fired or diesel-fired boilers. Basically, we use boilers for the cooking because our quantum of cooking is very, very huge, about tons of food. So when we are looking, we came across this induction technology. Basically, there are two reasons compelled us to look for an alternative. One is that we are reaching continuous request for scaling up of our production. In government school, from the government or from the different groups of communities. Also, we are having cultural complexes all over India, and there are the tourists from many countries visit our temples. So there are continuous scaling up of our kitchen requests are coming. And the second reason is that our revenue expenditure is scaling up. So on one side, we have to scale up our kitchens, and the second side, our revenue expenditures are continuously growing. So as a bird view from the calculations, what I had from the last week of our financial committee, we are spending about 50% of our revenue on the fuel, on the cooking. Cooking, maybe it reaches to maybe 25%. So there is a red signal given by our management that somehow you have to control your expenditure. That is one reason. And at the same time, we cannot deny the new requests also to establish the kitchens, because as all of you know that India, there is a lot more children are waiting for the meals, because who cannot afford to go to schools because of their economic condition. So we are continuously increasing our presence all over India. So, but at the same time, to control the our cooking costs. So we came across this induction technology is the best option for us, because the footprint of the kitchen can be reduced. That's one thing, because of proper sizing of the kitchen. So when basically the footprint of the kitchen is reduced, so that it indirectly means that you are increasing the capacity of the same footprint. So we can install more kitchen equipment, and we can install more kitchens. That is one thing. At the same time, as all of you know that induction, about 45% of is energy efficient than the PNG, the natural gas. So now these two things are very attractive for us, and we are going to start a pilot kitchen. So Anilji has already visited our premises last week, and we want to establish a pilot kitchen and establish a revenue model and establish a cooking model both, because cooking model is for the beneficiaries, for the stakeholders, for the people who are the consumers of the food, and the revenue model is for internal purpose, so that we can control our cost and we can scale up our kitchen. So this 45% of energy efficient we are gunning on, and the scaling up our kitchen. Definitely, I feel that the support from all the dignitaries here, and especially from the experts like Anilji and MECS, we are eagerly waiting for that, because it is going to bring a revolution, especially when we have started, we are using steam, diesel-fired steam boilers. So to cook tons of food, that is only the option available. Then slowly we have turned from steam boilers to briquette-fired boilers, where the briquettes are like natural, so it decreases the carbon footprint. And basically the problem with the briquettes is that availability and the storage. So there are other options, some limitations are there. So then from the briquette and diesel fire boilers, we are moving to natural gas fire boilers, where we have found 10 to 15% of energy efficiency. But the thing is that again, we have to maintain a boiler. So that is also occupies sufficient good amount of space, and expert technicians are required. And keeping in view of this, electricity generation is going to increase by various means of whether it's solar, whether it is so it is a good reason for us to adapt to electric cooking. And also one more thing, we are going to reduce our HVAC expenditure considerably. So we are spending about 5% of our expenditure on setting up of exhaust fans, setting up of ducts, so that the fumes are taken care of. So we are spending about 4 to 5% of our expenditure on the HVAC. So considerably, we are aiming at about 30 to 40% of our expenditure may reduce. So we are hoping so that the same expenditure, the same amount, whatever the same money, we can take it to the beneficiaries who are actually wanting of this, because the any technology, the aim should be that fruits of the technology should go to the beneficiary. We know that there are 5-star hotels. They are adopting this induction technology because they anyhow their capex and their budgeting, their expertise, and is different scale. But if the community, the technical community experts like you, if you help us, then we can take the technology to the rural areas. We can take the technology to the real needy people who are actually beneficiary of the technology. That's what the aim of the technology basically. Even let us say a rocket is fired also, let us a space mission. Ultimately, they have to find some minerals in the air, they have to GPS, they have to improve somewhere. The technology should go to the common man. So the same thing we are urging here, the experts and the MECS and Honorable Anil Desai and Nick and everybody, that please help us in setting up of this pilot kitchen. So we are already we have a plan for expanding this induction technology to many of our ISKCON cultural complexes also, because we cannot experiment on the NGO kitchen, because we have to responsible for every penny that we have, every rupee that we spend on the NGO. So we don't want to take an experimental on that side of kitchen. So in fact, we are the ISKCON is coming forward, especially ISKCON Bangalore. So we are coming forward to establish a pilot kitchen for the benefit of all of our group kitchens, so they can come, right. They can see. We are ready to give our data. We are going to put meters, and we are going to establish a scientific blueprint, so that. And the good thing is that we have diversified menus in ISKCON, especially from the Italian food to the south. So we do a different kind of menus, from dosas to that whatever pasta or whatever. So we have wide variety of menus we are cooking here. So we can establish a scientific blueprint as a revenue model and from the cooking perspective also. And also we will share this data to all the induction companies who are the technologists. That also they will be a little helpful for them also. So with this, I want to conclude, and my fervent request to the community here is that please help us. And I already spoke to Vimalji, and I'm continuously in touch with, and I'm in touch with Anil Desai, Anilji, and who is helping in our kitchen setup. And so I'm requesting all of you here, please help us in setting up this pilot kitchen, and so that the advantage of this technology we can take up to the common person. So thank you for giving the valuable time for me, and thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you for your offer and your
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'm very conscious of time. I realize that with the technical issues, things have extended a little bit beyond what we set, but so some people may need to leave. But this has been, for me, really stimulating. And I think this is a whole new strand that needs quite a lot of extra support. It's a very different area. And the business models for supplying to institutional settings are different. And there's some of the comments on the chat about how can, in other countries as well as in India, maybe institutions that don't have the financial resources of a big temple or of a 5-star kitchen can access these opportunities and these technologies. And that must come from economies of scale, from finding solutions which are flexible and apply in lots of settings, because we can't have kind of bespoke solutions for that level. So this is just the start of a conversation, I feel. And I think we, again, building a community around this for sharing ideas and for, just kind of developing the market, because I think the pilot that you're proposing to set up in your temple kitchen will be really helpful to provide learning. And as I say, Chipo is going to be doing a review of what we can find out about this side of things, that will then help everyone to have better information to plan and to go forward. But I'm going to have to call it today. But Mr. Sinha, did you want to make any final remarks? But you're on mute.
You are on
You're
mute, sir.
on mute.
You are on mute,
You're on
sir.
mute. You're muted.
Oh, sorry, I was not aware that as it happens. Anyway, my appreciation for all the speakers, Mr. Vedvyas ji, Mr. Anil Desai ji, Ms. Sanju Devi, who has probably left, and Umesh Vishwa ji, and Dr. Nick, of course, who has been very, efficiently moderating the session. And but before we end, I have to make an important announcement about our upcoming talk series, which is on March 5th. And this is not in virtual mode. This is in a physical or in-person mode, and will be held at CII campus, Sector 31, Chandigarh. And this is a workshop to promote e-cooking under Go Electric campaign of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, Government of India. And this is being organized by state designated agency Chandigarh, which is Electrical Circle Chandigarh Administration, in collaboration, of course, with Modern Energy Cooking Services Program and their in-country partner Finovista. So that would be the next our engagement there, and I hope that we all, those who can make it to present, there would be available and also would be benefited by the views that would be expressed by both government as well as private sector and the agencies like, as I said, Modern Energy Cooking Services Program representative there. So up to you, bye-bye, and up to that date, we hope to see you there on 5th March in Chandigarh. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Nick, thank you so much for tolerating me.
Not at all, Mr. Sanai.
That's nice.
Yeah. Thank you all. It is a really wonderful session. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gunjan ji also.
Yeah, Gunjan ji, your views were really, really appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We hope
See
to see each other more often.
Yeah, we will be meeting you soon.
All right. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. And with the message also we are coming to you. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.